They stepped into Mika's apartment, carrying the groceries together. Mila paused at the doorway, taking in the warm, cozy space. "Wow, Mika, your place is really nice," she said, smiling. Mika just nodded. "Let's put these away first." Once the groceries were unpacked, they started preparing the barbecue on the balcony. Mika handled the grill while Mila arranged the table and opened a bottle of soju. They poured themselves glasses and clinked them together. "To catching up," Mila said, her voice playful, cheeks flushed from the drink. They ate, laughed, and shared stories from college, the funny moments, the challenges, the times they weren't together. Mila, tipsy, leaned closer and teased, "You know why you've never had a partner, right?" Mika raised an eyebrow. "Why's that?" "Because you're the perfect goddess. Favorite of the gods. Level so high no one else can reach you," Mila said with a grin. "No one's good enough for you, that's why you're still solo." Mika chuckled softly, shaking her head. "A goddess, huh, that's flattering." Mila smirked. "I mean it. Your intelligence, your calm, no one could ever be you. That's why no one's ever you." They continued drinking and laughing, teasing each other, sharing little secrets and old crushes. Eventually, Mila flopped forward onto the table, face down, and fell asleep, exhausted from the drinks and the long day. Mika leaned back for a moment, quietly observing her. The soft rise and fall of Mila's chest, her tousled hair, her peaceful expression, it hit Mika like a lightning bolt. Suddenly everything made sense. No one had ever been enough for her, because no one could ever be Mila. Carefully, Mika lifted her, carrying her to the bedroom. She brushed Mila's teeth, gently helped her wash off the day, and changed her into a loose t-shirt and comfortable sleepwear. Every small gesture made Mika's heart beat faster. As she tucked Mila into bed, Mika whispered softly, almost to herself, "No one could ever be you, Mila, and that's why I've never needed anyone else." Standing there, watching her best friend sleep, Mika felt it clearly for the first time. This was more than friendship. This was love. After tucking Mila in, Mika realized she couldn't possibly leave her like this. She picked up her phone and called the hospital, requesting an emergency day off. She needed to be here when Mila woke up, partly to care for her, and partly because, for the first time, she didn't want to be anywhere else. The morning sun filtered through the curtains, casting a golden glow over the room. Mila's eyes fluttered open, and the first thing she saw was Mika. They were close, so close that Mila realized she had been subconsciously hugging Mika like a teddy bear all night. Panic surged through her. Her heart hammered against her ribs as she carefully untangled her limbs, trying not to wake the goddess beside her. She crept toward the bathroom, closing the door with a soft click and leaning against it, breathless. She stared at her reflection in the mirror, her mind a complete blank. What happened last night? Did I do something stupid? Then, she looked down. Her eyes widened. The clothes she was wearing weren't the ones she arrived in. Even her underwear had been changed. "OMG, no way," she whispered, her face turning a deep shade of crimson. In the bedroom, Mika stirred. Sensing the absence of warmth beside her, she sat up and rubbed her sleepy eyes. "Mila," she called out, her voice husky from sleep. No answer. Mika stood up and walked toward the bathroom. "Mila, you in there?" "Coming," Mila blurted out. Then, Her face heated up even more as her green-minded thoughts took over. Coming. Why did I say it like that? She scrambled to fix her sentence. I mean, yes. I'm here. Ah, wait. Mika leaned against the doorframe, a small, amused smile tugging at her lips. Mila sounded like a frantic mess. When the door finally opened, Mila didn't even say good morning. She looked at Mika with wide, worried eyes. Mika, please tell me, what happened last night? I can't remember anything. Mika decided to have a little fun. She crossed her arms, feigning a look of shock. You really don't remember? Mila, you were wild. You danced on the table, sang at the top of your lungs, you said some very interesting things. Mila's jaw dropped. I did. Oh my God. Mika, I'm so sorry. I'm a disaster. Mika couldn't hold it back anymore. She broke into a soft, melodic laugh. I'm teasing you. You didn't do any of that. You just fell asleep right into your snacks. Mila let out a long sigh of relief, but then she remembered the clothes. She gestured shyly to her t-shirt. But, you changed me. You saw everything. Mika gave a nonchalant shrug, though her own heart gave a little flutter at the memory. Mila, I'm a doctor, remember? I treated you after your accident. It's nothing I haven't seen in a clinical sense. She stepped closer, her gaze softening. Besides, you were uncomfortable in your uniform. I just wanted you to sleep well. The embarrassment didn't fade, but Mila felt a wave of warmth at the care Mika had shown. Anyway, Mika continued, since it's your day off, I called the hospital. I'm staying home today. Want to go somewhere? Mila's eyes lit up, her embarrassment momentarily forgotten. More time with you. Yay. Honestly, I'm still a bit tired. How about we just stay in and watch movies? Mika smiled, genuinely this time. Good idea. I have a stack of movies I haven't touched because work has been so busy. Let's be lazy together. While Mila took her shower, her mind raced faster than the water hitting the tile. It's so unfair, she thought, her face heating up. Mika's seen everything, but I've never seen her, not like that. She pictured Mika's sharp features and graceful silhouette, and for a second, she actually caught herself drooling. She quickly splashed her face with cold water. Get a grip, Mila. She's your best friend. This is crazy, isn't it? When she finally emerged, the living room was transformed. Mika had prepared a cozy nest of pillows and blankets on the couch. They settled in, the familiar scent of Mika's home wrapping around them as the movie began. Neither of them had checked the rating. Halfway through, the screen shifted from dialogue to a sudden, raw intensity. A love scene unfolded, passionate, slow, and loud in the quiet apartment. The air in the room instantly thickened. Their shoulders were touching, but the moment the actors on screen moved closer, both Mila and Mika flinched and pulled away as if they'd been burned. The silence between them was deafening, charged with a weird energy they could no longer ignore. Mila stole a glance at Mika. In the flickering light of the TV, Mika looked ethereal and hungry. It started with a look, then a lean, and then they were kissing. It wasn't the tentative kiss of friends. It was passionate, desperate, like years of unspoken feelings were finally breaking through a dam. As they kissed, Mila's hand wandered, sliding beneath the hem of Mika's shirt. Mika gasped into the kiss. She pulled back just enough to catch her breath, her eyes dark with a mix of vulnerability and desire. Slowly, she pulled her shirt over her head and discarded it. Mila froze. Her breath hitched in her throat as she stared. I was just dreaming about this in the shower, she thought, dazed. And now, it's real. Mila, Mika whispered, her voice a low, teasing velvet. Hello. You still with me? Mila let out a shaky, breathless laugh. I feel like I just won the lottery. Mika's expression softened into a tender smile before she leaned back in, pulling Mila toward her. The movie was forgotten as they moved together on the sofa, exploring a side of their relationship that had been waiting in the shadows for a lifetime. Later, as the credits rolled silently in the background, they lay tangled together. Mika's arm was draped protectively around Mila, her fingers tracing idle patterns on Mila's skin. Mika, Mila whispered into the crook of her neck. How did you know? When did you realize you liked me? Mika quieted, looking up at the ceiling. Subconsciously, I don't think I ever didn't know. It's like my heart was always tuned to your frequency. It's always been you, Mila. I just had to wait for my head to catch up. Mila smiled, reaching up to intertwine their fingers, her heart feeling fuller than it ever had. Maybe we were just born for this, she murmured. Our mothers were friends, we were born on the same day, we went our separate ways only to find the path back to each other. I think I was born just to find you. Mika squeezed her hand, pressing a soft kiss to her forehead. Then I'm glad I stayed right where you could find me.